The fall. The stars vanished first. Commander Sarah Chen stood at the viewport of International Space Station Beta, watching in horror as the alien vessels eclipsed Earth's view of the cosmos. They weren't ships in any conventional sense. They were geometric impossibilities, massive crystalline structures that bent both light and space around them. The Vertex, as they would later be known, had arrived without warning or declaration. Humanity's first contact with an alien civilization lasted exactly 6 minutes and 43 seconds. That was all the time it took for the Vertex to demonstrate their technological superiority by systematically disabling every military satellite in Earth's orbit. No demands, no communication, just cold, calculated destruction. "We're getting reports from ground control," Lieutenant James Rodriguez called out, his voice trembling. Similar structures appearing in low orbit over every major city. There. The transmission cut off abruptly, replaced by static. Sarah knew what was coming. They all did. Decades of science fiction had prepared humanity for this moment, but nothing could have truly readied them for the reality of it. The Vertex's attack was neither dramatic nor prolonged. It was methodical, like a gardener pruning unwanted growth. From her vantage point, Sarah watched as pinpricks of violet light descended from the alien ships, each beam precisely targeted. Where they touched, matter simply ceased to exist. Entire cities vanished in seconds, leaving perfect circular voids in the Earth's surface. The process was terrifyingly beautiful, like watching surgery performed with quantum precision. But deep beneath the Arctic ice, in a facility known only to a handful of government officials, something stirred. Project Lazarus, humanity's insurance policy against extinction, remained untouched. The facility had been built with one purpose: to preserve humanity's finest warriors, enhanced beyond normal human limitations, in cryogenic stasis. 500 of them, selected from special forces units worldwide, volunteered for a program they were told might never be needed. Dr. Elena Petrova, the project's lead scientist, watched the facility's external feeds with grim determination. The Vertex's attack had triggered the facility's automated revival protocols, but she knew it would take time, precious time they might not have. "Status report," she demanded, her Russian accent thickening with stress. "Cryogenic revival sequence initiated for all pods," her AI assistant responded. "Estimated time to full consciousness, 72 hours. Elena closed her eyes, saying a silent prayer. The facility had been built to withstand nuclear war, hidden beneath kilometers of ice and rock. Its power source was self-contained, its systems redundant. But would it be enough? Above ground, the systematic elimination of human civilization continued. The Vertex showed no interest in resources, territory, or subjugation. Their goal appeared to be simple extermination. Within hours, billions were gone, their existence erased with surgical precision. But they had overlooked something crucial about their targets. Humans, throughout their history, had demonstrated an uncanny ability to survive, to hide, to endure. Small pockets of humanity survived in underground bunkers, in submarine bases, in hardened military installations that had been built with nuclear war in mind. And beneath the ice, the super soldiers slept on, their enhanced bodies slowly awakening. Each one had been modified with cutting-edge biotechnology, enhanced muscle density, reinforced skeletal structure, accelerated healing, and neural interfaces that allowed them to process information at superhuman speeds. They were humanity's last line of defense, created for a day everyone hoped would never come. In her secure command center, Elena monitored their vital signs, watching as one by one, their bodies began the warming process. The first to show signs of consciousness was Captain Marcus Kane, designated Alpha 1. His neural patterns began spiking in ways that suggested he was already aware of his surroundings, even before full consciousness returned. Record log entry, Elena spoke clearly. Day 1 of awakening. The situation above ground is critical. The Vertex had eliminated approximately 80% of Earth's surface population. Their methods suggest a level of technology far beyond our current understanding. However, she paused, allowing herself a small smile. They don't appear to have detected our facility. The soldiers' enhancements are intact. And most importantly, they don't know what humanity is truly capable of when pushed to the brink. On her monitors, more vital signs began showing activity. Beta Team, Charlie Team, Delta Team, all beginning their return to consciousness. Each soldier carried within them not just physical enhancements, but the collective combat knowledge of 1,000 generations of human warfare, uploaded directly into their neural interfaces. The Vertex had made a critical error in their calculation. They had assessed humanity based on their visible technology, their obvious defensive capabilities. They hadn't considered what might be hidden, what desperate measures humanity might have prepared for just such an eventuality. As the first day of the invasion drew to a close, the alien ships hung in orbit like massive geometric snowflakes, their work nearly complete. But beneath the ice, humanity's counterattack was already beginning. The super soldiers of Project Lazarus were awakening, and with them, humanity's chance for survival. Elena looked at the cryopods, each one housing a warrior who would soon join the fight for Earth's survival. "We're not finished yet," she whispered. "We're just getting started." In the pods, the soldiers continued their awakening, their enhanced bodies preparing for a war unlike any humanity had ever faced. They were humanity's last hope. And soon, they would show the Vertex why Earth should never have been underestimated. Awakening. The first breath was always the hardest. Captain Marcus Kane's lungs burned as they drew in their first conscious breath in what felt like centuries. His enhanced muscles spanned, fighting against the lingering effects of cryogenic preservation. Through the clearing fog of his mind, his neural interface was already processing information, status reports, environmental data, and most critically, the facility's historical logs. The truth hit him like a physical blow. Earth had fallen. Billions dead. An alien force unlike anything humanity had ever conceived. "Easy, Captain," Dr. Elena Petrova's voice cut through his racing thoughts. "Your body needs time to adjust." Marcus forced his eyes open, his enhanced vision quickly adapting to the dim blue lighting of the revival chamber. Elena stood before him, older than he remembered, lines of worry etched deeply into her face. Behind her, rows of cryopods hummed as they brought his fellow soldiers back to consciousness. "How many?" he started, his voice rough from disuse. "We lost about 80% of the global population in the first wave," Elena replied, her voice clinical but unable to completely hide the pain. "The Vertex, as we're calling them, they're efficient." Marcus swung his legs over the side of the pod, his enhanced body already recovering its strength. The neural interface in his brain was working overtime, processing years of stored tactical data and combining it with the facility's intelligence reports. Every movement felt both familiar and strange. His muscles were stronger than he remembered, his reactions faster. "Show me," he commanded. Elena led him to the command center, where wall-to-wall displays showed the current state of Earth's surface. The perfect circular voids where cities once stood made his stomach turn. But it was the Vertex ships that captured his attention. Massive crystalline structures that seemed to defy physics itself. They missed some, Elena noted, pointing to scattered heat signatures indicating human survival. Underground bunkers, hardened military installations, deep-sea habitats. Maybe a few 100 million survivors total, scattered and hiding. Marcus nodded, his tactical mind already working. "And us? How many of the Lazarus soldiers are viable?" 483 out of 500. We lost some to power fluctuations during the initial attack, but the majority are awakening now. As if on cue, Colonel Sarah Martinez stumbled into the command center, her dark eyes already alert despite her recent revival. "Situation report," she demanded, military training overriding the disorientation of cryosleep. Marcus turned to his fellow soldier, noting how her enhanced physique had adapted even better than his to the preservation process. "We're what's left of humanity's fighting force, Colonel. The enemy holds orbital superiority and has eliminated most surface structures, but they've missed some things, including us." Sarah's neural interface was processing the same tactical data as his, and he could see the moment understanding dawned in her eyes. "They think they've won," she said, a predatory smile forming on her face. "They have no idea what they're dealing with." Over the next few hours, more soldiers joined them in the command center. Each one moved with the fluid grace of their enhanced bodies, their minds rapidly processing the situation through their neural interfaces. They were humanity's finest warriors, made better through technology and training. Lieutenant James Chen, their chief tactical officer, was already analyzing the Vertex's attack patterns. "They're methodical to a fault," he observed, his enhanced mind processing data faster than any normal human could. "Each attack follows the same pattern, the same precision. They don't adapt, don't change tactics. They don't expect they need to. That's their weakness," Marcus realized. "They think they're dealing with normal humans. They have no idea about the Lazarus Project, about what we're capable of." Dr. Petrova pulled up detailed scans of the Vertex ships. "Their technology is far advanced beyond ours, but it's not magic. We've detected fluctuations in their energy fields, patterns in their movement. With your enhanced capabilities, we might find ways to exploit these weaknesses." The soldiers gathered around the displays, their enhanced minds working in concert through their neural interfaces. Each had been modified not just physically, but mentally. Their brains could process information at unprecedented speeds, share tactical data instantly, and analyze complex situations in seconds. "We need to run combat trials," Sarah declared. "Test our enhancements, see what we're truly capable of now." Marcus nodded in agreement. The facility's lower levels included massive training areas specifically designed for their enhanced capabilities. "Dr. Petrova, how long until the rest of our forces are combat ready?" "Another 24 hours for full revival and basic motor function. After that, it's just a matter of conditioning and tactical integration." Marcus looked at his fellow soldiers, seeing the same determination in their eyes that he felt. They were humanity's last line of defense, but they were far from helpless. Each of them had been enhanced beyond normal human limitations, given abilities that would have seemed impossible just a few years ago. "Then we have work to do," he declared. "The Vertex think they've won, think they've broken humanity's spirit. They're about to learn how wrong they are." In the training chambers below, the first groups of awakened soldiers were already beginning their combat trials. The sound of their enhanced bodies pushing the limits of human capability echoed through the facility. Each punch carried the force of a small explosion, each reaction time measured in milliseconds rather than seconds. The Vertex had made a grave miscalculation. They had judged humanity by its cities, its visible technology, its conventional military forces. They hadn't considered what might be hidden beneath the ice, waiting for exactly this moment. As Marcus watched his soldiers train, he felt something he hadn't expected: hope. The Vertex might control the skies, might have destroyed much of human civilization, but they had no idea what was coming for them. Humanity's counterattack was about to begin, and it would start not with a bang, but with the whisper of super soldiers emerging from the ice, ready to show the aliens exactly what humanity was capable of when pushed to the edge of extinction. Counterattack. The first Vertex patrol never saw them coming. 3 crystalline constructs, each the size of a small building, hovered silently over the frozen wasteland that had once been Oslo. They moved with mathematical precision, their sensors sweeping methodically for any signs of human survivors. Below them, in the maze of underground maintenance tunnels, Captain Marcus Kane and his strike team waited. Neural dampeners functioning at optimal levels, Lieutenant Maya Patel whispered through their encrypted neural network. Her enhanced fingers danced over the portable quantum computer they'd brought from the Arctic facility. "Their scans are passing right through us," Marcus acknowledged with a thought. the neural interface translating it into a green status light in everyone's enhanced vision. His team of 12 represented humanity's first counterattack against the Vertex, and everything had to be perfect. Sarah Martinez's voice echoed in their shared neural space. Target Alpha is approaching the convergence point. 30 seconds. The plan was audacious, born from days of analyzing Vertex patrol patterns. The aliens were creatures of absolute precision. They never deviated from their programmed routes, never adapted unless forced to. It was both their greatest strength and their critical weakness. Remember, Marcus broadcast to his team, "We only get one shot at surprising them. After this, they'll know we exist." The enhanced soldiers moved into position, their modified bodies allowing them to move in perfect silence, despite their heavy combat gear. Each carried weapons specifically designed for this mission. Hybrid rifles that combined conventional ballistics with experimental energy weapons, developed from studying Vertex technology. 10 seconds. Sarah counted down. Marcus felt his enhanced body humming with controlled power. The modifications went far beyond mere physical improvements. Their very cells had been redesigned to channel energy more efficiently, making them stronger, faster, and more resilient than any natural human could be. Now, they struck from multiple angles simultaneously. Maya's quantum hack triggered a localized disruption in the Vertex's energy field, creating a momentary blind spot. In that split second, 12 enhanced soldiers launched themselves from hidden positions, their bodies moving faster than normal human eyes could track. Marcus's first shot struck the nearest Vertex construct at what their analysis suggested was a critical junction point. The hybrid round punched through the crystalline surface and detonated, releasing a burst of energy matched to the Vertex's own frequency. The effect was devastating. Cracks spread through the alien structure like lightning through glass. The other soldiers struck with similar precision, their enhanced reflexes and neural interfaces allowing them to coordinate their attack with microsecond timing. Before the Vertex could process what was happening, all three constructs were compromised. But the aliens weren't defenseless. The damaged constructs released waves of energy that would have vaporized normal humans. The enhanced soldiers' modified bodies absorbed the worst of it, their reinforced cellular structure converting the energy into additional power for their augmented muscles. Secondary countermeasures detected. Maya broadcast. They're adapting faster than predicted. Marcus watched as the Vertex constructs began to reconfigure, their crystalline structures shifting to form new defensive patterns. But even this displayed their fundamental weakness. They could only adapt along predetermined pathways, their responses bound by rigid mathematical rules. "Push the advantage," he commanded. Pattern Sigma 3. The soldiers moved as one, their neural interfaces allowing them to coordinate complex maneuvers instantly. They struck from constantly shifting angles, never giving the Vertex time to complete their defensive reconfiguration. Each attack was calculated to exploit the aliens' mathematical predictability. Sarah's voice cut through the tactical chatter. Energy spike detected. They're calling for reinforcement. Make it count. Marcus broadcast. His enhanced muscles launched him into an impossible leap, bringing him face to face with the largest Vertex construct. His hybrid rifle fired on full automatic, each round striking with precision, enhanced by his neural targeting systems. The construct shattered, its crystalline structure collapsing in a cascade of energy. The other two followed moments later, destroyed by similarly precise attacks from the rest of the team. The entire engagement had lasted less than 2 minutes. "Clear," Maya reported. "But we've got major activity in orbit. They know we're here now." Marcus nodded, already processing the tactical implications through his neural interface. "Collection team, move in. 5 minutes to extract any useful technology, then we ghost." As his soldiers scavenged what they could from the destroyed Vertex constructs, Marcus took a moment to evaluate their performance. The enhancements had worked better than anyone could have hoped. Their modified bodies had handled stress that would have killed normal humans, and their neural interfaces had allowed them to coordinate with impossible precision. But most importantly, they had proven that the vertex could be hurt. "Package secure," Sarah reported. "Detection countermeasures in place. They won't be able to track us back to base." Marcus gave the order to withdraw, watching as his enhanced soldiers disappeared into the underground network with their precious cargo. Each piece of vertex technology they could analyze brought them one step closer to understanding their enemy. Back in the Arctic facility, Dr. Petrova was waiting with her research team. The scavenged vertex technology would provide invaluable data for improving their weapons and defenses. But more than that, this first victory would show the remaining human survivors that hope wasn't lost. Phase 1 complete, Marcus reported through the command network. The Vertex are about to learn that humanity doesn't go quietly into the night. In orbit, the alien ships began to move with increased urgency. Their perfect geometric patterns shifted as they prepared new search protocols. But beneath the ice and ruins of human civilization, an army of enhanced soldiers prepared for war. The real battle for Earth was just beginning. Rising tide. "They're learning," Dr. Elena Petrova announced, her eyes fixed on the holographic display showing the latest Vertex patrol patterns. 3 months since our first strike, and their behavior is finally starting to adapt. Captain Marcus Kane studied the shifting geometric patterns, his neural interface processing the complex data streams. The Vertex ships no longer moved with their previous mathematical precision. Their patterns had become more erratic, less predictable, a sign that humanity's enhanced soldiers were having an impact. "Good," Sarah Martinez said, her enhanced fingers manipulating the tactical overlay. Predictability was their greatest weakness. Now they're being forced to evolve, which means they're burning more resources, making more mistakes. The Arctic facility had transformed into humanity's primary command center. What had started with 12 enhanced soldiers striking from the shadows had grown into a coordinated global resistance. Each successful raid had brought more survivors to their cause, and more importantly, more Vertex technology to study. Maya Patel's voice came through their neural network. "Incoming transmission from Resistance Cell Delta, Sydney Underground. They've completed evacuation of the civilian shelter. 3,000 more survivors ready for extraction." Marcus nodded, feeling the surge of pride. The super soldiers weren't just fighting the Vertex, they were rebuilding hope. Every week, they discovered more pockets of human survivors, hidden in bunkers and underground complexes across the globe. Each rescue mission strengthened their numbers and weakened the Vertex's hold on Earth. "Show me the latest combat data," he commanded. The holographic display shifted, showing footage from their most recent encounters with Vertex forces. The aliens had begun deploying new types of constructs, no longer just geometric shapes, but complex crystalline structures that could split and recombine in combat. But humanity's enhanced soldiers had evolved too. Dr. Petrova's research team had made breakthrough after breakthrough, combining salvaged Vertex technology with their own enhancements. The neural interfaces now allowed soldiers to process combat data in real time, adapting their tactics faster than even the Vertex's advanced systems could respond. "Energy signature analysis from the Beijing strike," Sarah noted, highlighting a particular sequence. "Their new constructs are drawing more power than before. They're having to work harder to maintain control." Lieutenant James Chen, who had been quietly processing tactical data, spoke up. "We've confirmed what we suspected. The Vertex aren't just fighting us, they're fighting Earth itself. Our planet's magnetic field interferes with their crystalline technology. The longer they stay, the more energy they have to expend." This was the advantage they had been looking for. The Vertex's apparent invincibility had been an illusion. Their technology, while incredibly advanced, wasn't infallible. Each adaptation they made to counter humanity's enhanced soldiers forced them further from their optimal operating parameters. "Status report on Operation Thunderstrike," Marcus requested. Maya's hands flew over her console. "All teams in position. We have enhanced soldiers embedded with resistance cells in 20 major underground complexes. The Vertex still haven't detected the quantum entanglement network we're using for communication. We can launch synchronized attacks on their major control nodes whenever you give the word. The plan had taken months to prepare. While the Vertex focused on adapting to their direct attacks, humanity's enhanced soldiers had been quietly setting up a global network of resistance cells. Each cell was led by super soldiers who trained regular human survivors in advanced combat techniques. The neural interfaces allowed them to share combat experience instantly, turning civilians into efficient fighters in weeks instead of years. "Show me the survivor count," Marcus said softly. Numbers scrolled across his enhanced vision. From the estimated few hundred million who had survived the initial attack, they had now made contact with over 1 billion hidden survivors. The Vertex's perfect genocide hadn't been so perfect after all. Humanity had done what it did best: adapt, hide, and prepare to strike back. "We're getting reports from the Lunar Observation Post," Sarah announced. "The Vertex's orbital fleet is showing signs of strain. Their energy signatures are fluctuating more than ever." This was the moment they had been waiting for. The Vertex had committed too much of their force to Earth, trapped by their own rigid thinking into believing that overwhelming force was the answer. They hadn't understood that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in its technology, or even its enhanced soldiers. It was in its ability to unite and fight back against impossible odds. "Signal all cells," Marcus commanded. "Operation Thunderstrike commences in 6 hours. It's time to show the Vertex why you should never corner a species that evolved as persistence hunters." Throughout the underground network of resistance bases, enhanced soldiers and human fighters began their final preparations. The neural network hummed with activity as combat plans were shared and synchronized. In the Arctic facility, Dr. Petrova's team made final adjustments to their hybrid weapons, incorporating the latest insights gained from studying Vertex technology. The tide hadn't just turned, it had become a tsunami, building beneath the surface where the Vertex couldn't detect it. Humanity's enhanced soldiers had done more than just survive. They had turned Earth itself into a weapon against its invaders. "One last thing," Marcus broadcast across the neural network. "Remember what we're fighting for. Not just survival, but the right to determine our own future." The Vertex thought they could simply erase us from existence. Instead, they forced us to become something stronger than we ever were before. In orbit, the Vertex ships continued their patrol patterns, their crystalline surfaces reflecting the sun's light. They had no way of knowing that beneath the surface of the planet they thought they had conquered, an army of enhanced humans was about to teach them the true meaning of adaptation. The final battle for Earth was about to begin. Reclamation. Operation Thunderstrike began with a whisper. Across the globe, in 20 synchronized strikes, enhanced soldiers emerged from their underground havens. Each team carried weapons that represented the perfect fusion of human ingenuity and adapted Vertex technology. But their greatest weapon wasn't their enhanced bodies or hybrid technology. It was the element of surprise. "All teams, execute," Marcus broadcast through the quantum network. His strike force moved through the ruins of New York, their neural dampeners masking them from Vertex sensors. Above, the crystalline ships hung in perfect formation, unaware that their mathematical perfection was about to be shattered. Maya's voice echoed through their neural link. "Quantum disruption fields active. Target their primary nodes in 3, 2, 1. The attack began simultaneously across every continent. Enhanced soldiers struck at the Vertex's control nodes, the crystalline structures they used to maintain their energy network across Earth's surface. Each strike team moved with impossible speed and precision, their neural interfaces allowing them to coordinate attacks down to the microsecond. The Vertex's response was immediate but predictable. Their ships began shifting into defensive formations, geometric patterns rearranging themselves according to their programmed protocols. But humanity had been studying these patterns for months. "They're responding exactly as projected," Sarah reported from her position in Europe. "Moving to Phase 2. Dr. Petrova's voice cut through the tactical chatter. "Energy readings confirm our theory. Their adaptive capabilities are severely limited by Earth's magnetic field. They can't maintain their defensive formations without burning through massive amounts of power. Marcus watched as the first Vertex ship attempted to reconfigure itself to counter their attack. The crystalline structure began to fragment, but instead of forming new defensive patterns, it started to crack. The aliens had finally reached the limits of their adaptation. "All teams, deploy the resonators," he commanded. Across the battlefield, enhanced soldiers activated devices that looked deceptively simple, small crystalline structures reverse-engineered from Vertex technology. But these weren't weapons in the conventional sense. They were amplifiers, designed to enhance Earth's natural magnetic field in precise, targeted ways. The effect was devastating. Vertex ships began to shudder, their perfect geometric forms distorting as they fought against the amplified magnetic interference. The crystalline structures that had seemed so invincible now revealed their fundamental weakness. They required perfect conditions to maintain their integrity. "Multiple Vertex control nodes going dark," Maya reported. "Their network is fragmenting. They can't maintain cohesion." Human survivors emerged from their underground shelters, joining the enhanced soldiers in the fight. Regular humans couldn't move with superhuman speed or process tactical data through neural interfaces, but they could operate the resonators, could help maintain the disruption field that was crippling the Vertex's technology. In orbit, the alien fleet was in chaos. Their ships, which had once moved with perfect synchronization, now jerked and shuddered as they tried to compensate for the magnetic interference. Some began to break apart, their crystalline structures shattering under the strain. "They're attempting to regroup at high orbit," Sarah observed. "But look, they're leaving their ground forces behind." This was the moment they had trained for. Enhanced soldiers struck at the isolated Vertex ground forces with devastating efficiency. Their hybrid weapons, combined with the magnetic disruption, tore through the alien defenses like they were made of glass. Marcus led his team in a direct assault on a major Vertex control node. His enhanced muscles carried him through impossible acrobatic maneuvers as he dodged energy blasts. His neural interface processed combat data in real time, allowing him to predict and counter every defensive measure. "The orbital fleet is retreating," Maya announced. "Long-range sensors show them breaking formation. They're running." A cheer went up from the human forces. The Vertex, faced with an enemy they couldn't predict or control, were choosing to abandon Earth rather than continue a fight they no longer understood how to win. In the Arctic facility, Dr. Petrova watched the sensor readings with tears in her eyes. "They never understood," she said softly. "They thought they could predict everything, control everything through perfect mathematical models. They never accounted for human adaptability, for our ability to turn their own strengths against them." The battle continued for several more hours as enhanced soldiers and human resistance fighters cleared the remaining Vertex forces from Earth's surface. Each victory added to their understanding of alien technology, each captured piece of equipment bringing humanity closer to true technological parity with their former oppressors. Finally, Marcus stood in the ruins of what had once been Times Square, watching the last Vertex ships disappear into the depths of space. His enhanced vision could still track them, growing smaller until they vanished completely. "Begin recovery operations," he broadcast across the global network, "and send word to all survivor enclaves. Earth is ours again." Sarah's voice carried a note of caution. "They'll be back, won't they? The Vertex don't seem like the type to accept defeat." Marcus smiled, his neural interface already processing plans for humanity's next phase of evolution. "Let them come. We're not the same species they tried to exterminate. We're something new now, a humanity that combines the best of our adaptability with technology we've only begun to understand. Next time, we'll be ready." Around the world, enhanced soldiers began the work of rebuilding. Their neural networks, once used primarily for combat coordination, now helped organize recovery efforts. The underground cities that had sheltered humanity would become the foundations of a new civilization, one that combined the best of human ingenuity with the advanced technology they had won. The vertex had meant to end humanity. Instead, they had forced it to evolve into something stronger, something more resilient than ever before. Earth's enhanced defenders stood ready, watching the stars, preparing for whatever challenges the future might bring. Humanity hadn't just survived, it had transcended.